8.5 years in prison for throwing a Molotov cocktail into the building of the Krasnodar department of the FSB. Igor Paskar was found guilty of a terrorist attack and vandalism motivated by political hatred. They arrested him last summer.
It was a public action. If I disappeared, it would lose all meaning. I am not a terrorist warrior to hide. I wanted to express my opinion. It was a scream. I am a simple person, a simple hard worker, like those who live in Ukraine. I sacrificed myself for the regime, but I am not a terrorist. Which one is a terrorist? It's funny. Igor Paskar convicted in a letter to the resource Media Zona.
In May, about 50 new criminal cases were opened in the Federation for Anti-War Position over the info reports. The intensity of criminal prosecutions in anti-war cases over the past 2 months has reached a new level, 1.5 cases per day. The State Duma in May accepted 5 new repressive initiatives for consideration and intends to keep its citizens under the hood, experts say.
It is clear that the Russian authorities are slowly tightening the screws, limiting the rights of Russians, and this last initiative with the recognition of foreign passports by their confiscation is aimed at restricting the rights and freedoms of movement of citizens, including abroad. In fact, we can say that if not an iron curtain, but some kind of curtain, the Putin regime is already actively putting up.
Russian intelligence services closely monitor what people write on social networks. In Tomsk, Viktor Lavrentiev, a retired police lieutenant colonel, was fined 1 million rubles in the case of military fakes, writes Info. The case was opened back in March last year due to the fact that Lavrentiev wrote a post about the shelling of a maternity hospital in Mariupol. In addition to the fine, Lavrentiev was banned from any public statements for a year, including in social networks. Another fake case will soon be considered in court against a blogger from Yoshkar-Ola. Andrei Filipov has been in a pre-trial detention center for almost a year and is forbidden to meet and even talk on the phone with close relatives. Last year, the blogger posted on his YouTube channel a video titled "The War Between Russia and Ukraine, a Ukrainian's Perspective", which the authorities did not like.
Freedom of speech, freedom of thought has not existed in Russia for a long time, and even the European Court has repeatedly stated in its court decisions that the state should urgently revise its norms. But naturally, as usual, for the Russian authorities, the recommendations of the European Court mean nothing.
In Moscow, a court refused to recognize the actions of police officers who detained a 10-year-old girl as illegal. Last year, schoolgirl Varvara Galkina was denounced by the director of her school because of the pro-Ukrainian profile picture on the girl's social networks and skipping classes in patriotic education. After that, Varvara was detained by the police. The security forces interrogated the child and took her to the department. There, the girl, already with her mother, spent several hours without the opportunity to eat, drink and go to the toilet, human rights activists say. The Varvara family had to leave Russia. Cases when Russians leave the country to escape repression have become widespread. Thinking people leave first of all, experts say.
When I studied this issue, I saw the figures are much larger. The true figure is somewhere in the region of 700–800,000 people. It is important to know that Putinism has always fought and has always been more embittered at the most progressive, the smartest, the most sought-after segments of the population, tactically and systematically making their life in Russia impossible.
Experts from the American Institute for the Study of War are confident that the Kremlin will continue to intensify internal repressive measures. They are likely to encourage self-censorship and prepare Russian society for a protracted war. Reported by Serhiy Kulas, Angelika Brushnevska, UATV News.